Okay, first thing you're going to do is get a flight. You can try from Google Flights from your local airport there. Hit Explore. Don't set a date. Don't set an end destination. You want that 1 week trip in the next 6 months anywhere option. Zoom over to Maui. Kahului is the airport you're going for, not Kapalua in the top right, not Hana in the bottom right. Kahului. Look at that. Those are okay airlines. $230, $240, $250 is a pretty good price for round trip to Maui. Then we're going over to Southwest Airlines. For this, you want to select your two airports there, your nearby airport and the Maui airport. No date, low fare calendar. Wait for that to load since we're going so fast. And Southwest is a pretty good airline. Next, you're going to try and get your motorcycle or moped rental. I've pretty much shortlisted the ones in Kihei, not Lahaina, for traffic reasons. Aloha Motorsports is a pretty good business. They can get you $225 for 6 days. Hawaiian Cruisers will get you $225 for 7 days. And now for the Grand Tour. So I have a Google My Maps itinerary set out so that you just point at the next place and your phone routes you there. It's very easy. Now let's talk through the tour. So on day 0, you're going to be arriving at the airport. You'll take a cab, ideally a cab like an Uber, down to Aloha Motorsports or another one of those around in Kihei. It's going to be less expensive to take a cab or bus to Kihei than Lahaina area. And if you want to take a bus, it's doable. It's going to be significantly less expensive. Ubers just can be massively expensive. So you're going to go to get your rental. I don't know what time you're going to touchdown, but it'll probably be sometime in the early afternoon. I've set out some places to either get food supplies, like Foodland. They have poke early in the day. Or some places to just go and eat. Cafe Olé in Kihei. Or food from Eskimo Candy Incorporated. They're a fresh fish distributor to a lot of the major restaurants. But locals know that you can go there and you can get restaurant grade fish and take it out to eat. It's kind of a steal. And then you're going to go down to Little Beach. And that's very confusing. If you try to find Little Beach on your own, Little Beach or Big Beach, it's kind of ridiculous. It's hard to find because so many different places are called the same name. It's got a Hawaiian name, but hippies went there in the 60s and they don't want to pronounce that. They wanted to do drugs. So they just called it Little Beach and Big Beach. So I have the parking for Little Beach there outlined. And also the Big Beach and Little Beach places to swim, snorkel, whatever. If you go towards the rocks, you'll probably get better views of fish and stuff like that if you're really into snorkeling. I'm going to talk later about items to bring, but if you're backpacking, you have minimal space for things to bring. Goggles are just as okay as snorkeling equipment. Some people might disagree with me, but under the circumstances, that's what I do. That's what I'd recommend that you do. I've tried to bring snorkeling equipment. It's very hard to pack in or on a backpack and take with you and all that stuff. It's kind of a hassle. So then you can either swim or snorkel or whatever, watch the sunset, and then walk over a little barrier that they have there, natural barrier. To get onto a Little Beach is pretty secluded, and you want to lock your bikes together into something upright and sturdy when you do this. There's a Jaws Tacos lunch truck in the parking lot, but that's not highly recommended by veterans of the area. And that's in the intro I talked about all night fishing. So Little Beach is a place where you would all night fish, quote unquote. Set up a fishing pole. do your due diligence to, you know, be fishing, quote unquote. If you really want to be legal camping, you can go all the way up to Papalua Wayside Park. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. Papalua Wayside Park is farther up the coast. It is a legal campsite, but there's probably a lot of locals there that their houses were in Lahaina and they burned down, or they might be locals that, you know, have been homeless on Maui for a while. I wouldn't advise you to place yourself in that context. The other legal campsites are pretty far away. They're on the other side of the island. You can just go straight there if you get a reservation. I'll have those campsites, and I do have all the campsites and their websites where you can get a reservation and do everything and do your due diligence that way if you want to. They are already closer to Hana, so you can go for those campsites if you have a reservation. You absolutely need to be legal. We're going to, the plan is to go to Hana the next day, so you can start on your way to Hana. But the regular plan is to all-night fish in the Little Beach area, and then in the morning ride to Hana. And if you have a moped, you can only go so far on a single gallon of gas that many of them have, so you'll probably need to stop in Paia Town. You'll necessarily need to stop in Paia Town for some gas. You can also get some food supplies at Mana Foods. That's a high recommendation. They have some pretty spectacular food there. Probably $8-10 sandwich, whatever else you need. You can get food supplies in Hana, but you know they're pretty short on food supplies. It's hard to get stuff out to that location, so you're going to get much better food in Paia Town. You'll be in Hana for 2.5 days, so you can't get all your food supplies, but get some in Paia Town. And then you'll be on your way to Waianapanapa State Park. That takes a reservation even to get in and to stay there for like 2 hours, but it's quite beautiful. If you can get that reservation, it's highly recommended. If not, you can just go straight to Hana Bay. And if you want to be exact with the itinerary, exact with the timing of the itinerary, you can go a little bit farther down the road past Hana to Hamoa Beach. Check out Hamoa Beach. It's a pretty cool beach. They got a little bit of a fierce surf there. If you go to the left-hand side, there is a current that will pull you out of that bay, and that's I would advise you to avoid that, but it's a pretty spectacular beach. So after Waianapanapa, if you got the 2-hour reservation, or Hamoa, next stop is Hana Bay Beach Park, and that's a pretty mellow park. It's pretty beautiful. If you go out in the water, you look back, you see some of the hills of Hana. It's a very beautiful area, and that is an option for all-night fishing, so you don't have to spend a lot of time there, but you know, maybe check that out and see if the parameters are right for you to all-night fish there. If you don't have a reservation, an additional reservation to camp at Waianapanapa in your tent or in one of the cabins. The cabins are expensive. The tents are probably restricted and at a medium price, but I don't think you'll be able to get reservations for that, to be honest. If you need gas, there's one gas station in Hana. For that reason, I highly recommend that you have cash, because they might decide that they don't take credit cards, and then you can't leave Hana. If you're on a scooter, that is. If you're on a motorcycle proper, you probably have enough gas to get wherever you want to. The next stop is Red Sand Beach. It's a little bit hard to access. This is kind of a local secret. So I have parking laid out, mapped on the Google map. I have the trailhead on the Google map, and when you're at the trailhead, it might be hard to see exactly where to go. Just try to go through the brush towards the ocean, not on that property, towards the right. I think that's Oprah's property. She owns a lot of stuff around here. And you know, if you follow the trail past the ocean, you'll if you try to go to the ocean, you'll find that trail pretty quickly. You get to Red Sand Beach. That's spectacular. That beach is spectacular, and for a lot of reasons. That might be another place you would want to all night fish. It's really beautiful. It's really quite secluded. But a note, if you're going to all night fish in any of these places, especially on the East Coast, you'll get some drizzle or some rain. So if you're going to all night fish at Red Sand Beach, there's less places to set up a hammock for your fishing, but you want to make sure that you're covered from the rain. There's more places to set up a hammock at Hana Bay, and my recommendation is that you bring a hammock. Even if you have a tent, if you're going to do this all night fishing kind of option, it's better to have a hammock for a couple of reasons. And if you all night fish at Red Sand Beach, you're going to have to lock your bikes up pretty well, because you're not going to be able to see them. Lock them together and lock them well. It's another good reason to have at least 2 people on the expedition. So, back to the plan. It's at Red Sand Beach. It's probably 5 p.m. once you spend 2 hours and get out of there. You can look for fruit stands. Not a lot of people are into fruit, but Hawaii has some pretty kickin' fruit. There's some on the side of the road, especially as you go further down the road, which I wouldn't recommend that you do. It's not really part of the plan yet. But Caroline's at Hamoa Beach is a fruit stand. They might close. They might close by 5:30, but they also have a campsite that is legal. She's not going to like or permit you camping in a hammock. And if you show up late in the day, she's not really going to like that either. But if you need a legal place and you don't have a reservation at Waianapa Napa, and you don't want to go all the way south to, Kipahulu Kaupo, then you can pay $50-$60 to have a view of hills and then a drop off to the ocean right above Hamoa Beach at Caroline's place. But if you're going to do that, I would do it earlier in the day. I've provided a phone number on the description in the Google Maps. I haven't included it in the Excel list of campgrounds because it's not really it's a private campground. So if you want to get dinner, they got a selection of food trucks. That's about as gourmet as it gets. I have that marked on the map. And I forgot to say, after the Red Sand Beach, and you're leaving the Red Sand Beach, and before you get to Caroline's and Hamoa Beach, there's a Hana Ranch store if you need supplies. And the campsites, as I was talking about earlier, are the Waianapa Napa campground. If you got that reservation, that's pretty spectacular. Caroline's, or all-night fishing at Hana Bay or Red Sand Beach. I'm not telling you to camp there. I'm telling you to all-night fish there. I didn't tell you to camp at Hana Bay or Red Sand Beach. I'm telling you to all-night fish there. And if you need to have shelter in case it rains when you are all-night fishing, who can blame you for that?